The Zenfone 9 is a low-cost phone that is trying to pass for a high-end device. It is two average phones perched on top of one another in a trench coat, purporting to be equivalent to the Samsung Galaxy S22 or the iPhone 14. Simply put, the phone shouldn't be so expensive. Although ASUS has priced it similarly to Apple and Samsung flagships as well as the Xiaomi 12 and OnePlus 10 Pro, the user experience just isn't worth this price. Before getting into the details, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. ASUS Zenfone 9. Design. If the ASUS Zenfone 9 weren't so little, it's smaller than most other Android phones available. It would resemble a cookie-cutter chocolate bar-type smartphone. In comparison to some other mega mobiles you can buy at the same price, this makes it incredibly pleasant to use with one hand. Wired audio enthusiasts will be pleased that the phone offers both a USB-C connector and a 3.5mm headphone jack. A side-mounted fingerprint scanner and volume button are located on the right edge of the device. The fingerprint scanner is positioned on the side and works 9 out of 10 times, which is better than other phones. The Zenfone sports a plastic cover rather than a glass exterior like many similar-priced phones, but it feels sturdy and has a rough grip that makes it comfortable to handle. We tried the black version, but it also comes in red, blue, and white. The phone has an IP68 designation for resistance to dust and water, so it should withstand contact with either. ASUS Zenfone 9 display. The ASUS Zenfone 9 is a little phone. Its display is 5.9 inches, making it one of the few Android devices released in 2022 with a screen less than 6 inches. It boasts an FHD Plus display, 1100 nits of maximum brightness, and a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is about what you'd expect for the price, although there are a few phones with a better resolution. It's difficult to come up with a more apt term to describe the display than fine, which we previously used. With a resolution that matches the output of the majority of apps, and a refresh rate that makes motion seem fluid, it accomplishes what you need it to, but it doesn't do anything better than any other phone. ASUS Zenfone 9 cameras. It seems the AI processing sometimes become confused since some photos were flat, while others appeared oversaturated and excessively colorful. A 12MP ultra-wide camera with a 113-degree field of view makes up the other device. With minor edge distortion, this performs roughly as well as the majority of shorter focal length lenses do. Although many competitors at the same price point have a zoom camera, this one does not. Therefore, if you want to go closer to a subject, you must use digital zoom or cropping. If you zoom in too much, this rarely looks well and rapidly produces fuzzy photographs. The main problem with the camera, though, was how long it frequently took for a picture to be really captured after pushing the shutter button. Make sure your photo has truly been taken before moving your hand. We took a number of blurry pictures while lowering the phone before we realized this problem. The 12MP selfie camera on the front worked well, capturing images with enough detail and lighting. Even in low-light situations, it functioned admirably, albeit portrait mode produced a lot of erroneous artificial background blur. The phone can capture videos at up to 4K resolution and 60 frames per second, which is a feature that many smartphones provide. However, we were pleasantly delighted to discover a Pro Video mode, which is a feature that very few smartphones have. Similar to Pro Photo, this allows you to alter the shutter speed, ISO, white balance, and more while recording video, allowing you a lot of creative freedom when shooting movies. Beyond that, there are a few more settings, but they are all quite standard. They include light trails, slow motion, panoramic, and time-lapse. ASUS Zenfone 9. Performance and specs. The phone is powered by a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 CPU from Qualcomm. Currently, this is the most powerful chip that Android phones can use, making it ideal for demanding tasks like gaming or video editing. Although in this case, it doesn't really matter. You are not purchasing the Zenfone for gaming with a 5.9-inch screen. Although it is strong, there is just not enough usable screen area. With your hands in place, you essentially cover half the screen and hardly see any of the action. Similar to this, the screen makes video editing too sloppy to be worthwhile. Therefore, the power is superfluous. Additionally, Qualcomm's 8 series chipsets often overheat, even when you aren't doing an intensive operation. Additionally, The phone has 16 GB of RAM, which is absurd even for huge smartphones like the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, much less this toddler-sized phone. Additionally, it has 256 GB of storage. However, you might find the 8 GB/128 GB version adequate for your needs. ASUS Zenfone 9 software. The ASUS Zenfone 9 runs on stock Android 12 without many ASUS modifications, giving you a great uncluttered experience with Google's built-in applications and the advantages of this version of Android's customization features. We detected two differences from standard Android. The first is the most obvious. It is that the ASUS wallpaper is used by default rather than one of Android's selections. The second is a gaming mode that activates as soon as you start a game and allows you to adjust settings and silence notifications. ASUS Zenfone 9. Battery life. For most phones, the Zenfone's 4300 mAh battery might seem to be on the smaller side, but because of its tiny display, that's not really a problem in this case. Even yet, the battery life of the ASUS is just passably decent. The phone often survived a full day of use and only suffered during periods of heavy use. Nevertheless, it couldn't be relied upon to last into a second day. That is essentially standard for a smartphone, but ASUS said that the battery life would be 1.9 days, which is obviously false. Although charging for a flagship phone occurs at 30W, which is admittedly a touch slowly, Apple and Samsung haven't really embraced fast charging, so we can't be too upset. However, it does imply that this phone requires overnight charging. ASUS Zenfone 9. Price. The price of the ASUS Zenfone 9 is $699 or £699 for the 8 GB/128 GB variant and $799 or £749 for the 16 GB/256 GB model. Compared to the May 2021 release date of the Zenfone 8, the Zenfone 9 arrived toward the end of July 2022. That's all for today. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you all.